Pretty much exactly 1 year ago, I shaved my head, and I thought I'd do a little video on it. Hello, my loves! Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here and you're just stumbling upon this video because you searched something about shaving your head or growing out a buzz cut like I did when I first did it and when I was growing mine out, then welcome. I'm happy you're here. My name is Lorena. I usually create content around spirituality, conscious manifestation, self-concept and identity shifts, transformation, rebirth, healing, all that stuff. So I work in the self-development realm and I'm a self-concept and manifestation coach. So if you just stumble upon this and this type of content does not resonate with you, then I will probably not see you again after this. But if you do like this, then maybe consider sticking around and seeing how you like the other videos. And if that's the case, maybe you could subscribe. It's kind of nice. So I'm excited about this. I have a whole separate video about why I did this, and you also see the whole process of me shaving my head there, sped up, not wasting a lot of your time, but that exists if you're curious about that, my reasons for doing it. I will go into it a little bit in this video, just summarized, just so you have some context. And of course, because I'm sure you want to see it, I'll also share a bit of maybe a time lapse or just insert pictures here and there of different stages. I'll see how I do it when I edit the video, but yeah, you'll get to see the grow out process because I'm sure everybody's curious about that, especially those of you who haven't been following along for the ride over the past year. But primarily this video is going to be about my reflections, the lessons I have gained and learned from this experience, and what this has brought me in terms of my spiritual and personal development, my manifestations, and my rebirth, my self-concept transformation, because this has truly been the biggest gift, and it was half intentional, but I did not expect it to lead to so much transformation. So I'm excited to share it with you. So just to summarize really quickly what my intentions were and why I even did this in the first place. If you want the full spiel, you can check out the other video. But basically, I wanted to face some of my fears that I was coming up against, like so many humans, because hello, I'm human. I have fears. And specifically, those were fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, and fear of judgment. After having put myself out there on the internet over the last few years, I did have a lot of challenges, a lot of negative comments, even death threats, to be honest. And it created this fear of being cancelled at some point, and I wanted to overcome that. Another goal of mine, or intention of mine with this, was to become more confident and embrace my body, my femininity, my face, all of that a lot more. And the third big intention was just to liberate myself and symbolize my rebirth and a process of letting go, because last year, 2022, has been a very intense year for me with a lot of loss and a lot of grief and a lot of heartbreak. And I just wanted to leave all of that behind me and truly heal. And so I thought, what better way to start fresh than to get rid of all my hair? And also my hair was kind of destroyed from bleaching it, and it was also kind of a bucket list item. But yeah, it's those reasons before that were the main reasons why I did it. Now let's talk about what it was like. How did it go for me? First of all, it was incredibly freeing and liberating, which is exactly what I had wanted. Just the process of shaving it all off, especially because my hair was like this long or something. So long enough for it to feel like it has some weight and it's kind of like trapping me in a way. So that was incredibly liberating, especially with all that symbolism attached to it. You know, I had just left a relationship, I had ended some friendships, I had to walk away from them, I had gone through some identity shifts in myself and in my business, and there was just a lot of grief, and I was like, okay, let's get rid of this. Let's leave this in the past. I even did a little ceremony and buried my hair. I don't think I've shared this publicly, but I did this in a really ceremonial way because I really wanted to let this go. And doing it, like shaving it all off, it just felt so good. Obviously, it was challenging, and I came up against fears through that decision and that process alone, but it was incredibly liberating. I was actually at the time working with one of my mentors, and she was helping me heal my heartbreak. She was supporting me with some shadow integration, and she was primarily supporting me with integrating a plant medicine experience that I'd had. So I was working with her, and she was also supporting me through this rebirth because I told her I want to shave my head, and she really deeply supported me so I could actually feel safe and supported and go ahead with it. Because although I really wanted it, I needed that emotional support for sure. Sometimes you just need to be held, right? Now, once I did it, to my surprise, it felt pretty good still. I largely received positive feedback, which surprised me. Overwhelmingly positive, actually. Except for a lot of negative comments, actually, on TikTok and YouTube Shorts specifically. I guess people just find your stuff and they can be kind of mean. But yeah, there were some negative comments there, you know, people calling me ugly. But also professionally, I noticed the impact, which was quite interesting because I suddenly noticed how people were criticizing my message and my work more, although it hadn't really changed. And I sat with it and I was like, I think that's pretty privilege, because before I fit into this box, right? Like, I'm a very feminine woman, got the curves, I had long hair, so I fit into what society wanted me to look like. And then when that stopped, because I didn't have hair anymore, and that doesn't fit in with conventional beauty standards anymore, it's like people were seeing me less. Now, I didn't take that personally, but it was a very interesting observation. It's like people liked what I had to say more when I was conventionally attractive versus when I wasn't. I also got looks on the street, so was stared at a lot, primarily positively. Lots of positive comments. I was honestly surprised by all the positive feedback, and I felt badass without hair. I loved it. I actually felt so much more sexy and so much more feminine than with hair. And I felt so confident, truly. Not even to mention that obviously my hair dried in like 3 seconds and I didn't have to do anything for it, and showers felt amazing, but the internal stuff was more important. Now, that was the beginning, right before I started growing it out. And that was honestly the easier part, because the true challenge and the true initiation started when I began to grow it out. Now, that's number one, because I just had a very challenging year. I had to heal a lot, and there was a lot still happening. I was still healing from my heartbreak. I lost my cat, who I loved so, so much, and that put me into this big grief portal. I had new challenges come up with my business, actually a really big initiation that ultimately served me so much, but there were some tough things. And I also really had to love myself a lot more deeply, because now a lot of my insecurities physically were coming to the surface because I couldn't hide behind my hair. And I was, obviously, when you grow it out, you go through some awkward stages. And we all have days where we look into the mirror and we don't like what we see. And obviously I have that too. And it was more over the last year for sure, just because I couldn't hide behind my hair and because it didn't always look the way I wanted it to look and there was nothing I could do about it. I also noticed blemishes and wrinkles more, and I noticed my body more and the things I didn't like about it. But ultimately, that really forced me to love myself a lot more deeply, which was a true gift in the end. And also, I really learned patience. I really learned to practice patience, and I'm not in such a rush anymore, having everything now, having everything fast. So that's been a really beautiful lesson and development also. So what now? What are my thoughts and what does life look like now? Well, shaving my head is honestly one of the best things I've ever done for myself, and I am the kind of person who likes to challenge herself mentally and spiritually and emotionally. But shaving my head is definitely in the top 3. It has completely liberated me. It has completely transformed me. It has enabled me to heal my heart. I feel a lot more patient, a lot more at peace with myself, a lot more confident, a lot more beautiful, a lot more clear on who I am and who I want to be. I am more authentic. I'm not afraid of rejection or judgment. I'm not afraid of being canceled. And when somebody does talk negatively about me, I don't make it mean anything about myself. And that is very much a natural thing. It's not something that I have to tell myself or remind myself of or convince myself of. It's integrated. I have also become a lot more, the only way I can put it is magnetic. And obviously this is not just because I shaved my head, but it's also because of all the other work that I've been doing on myself. If you know my work, if you know my channel, you know that I'm a self-concept coach and I have a very intentional process to go through my transformation and to grow myself and to honestly consciously manifest my reality and consciously create what I desire to experience. And I use that process myself. I use it with my clients. I have been heavily investing in myself and my growth professionally, but also personally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So it's not like just shaving my head brought me this shift, this transformation, this shift in my state and my self-concept. That's not it. But it definitely contributed to it. And I honestly see such different results in my external circumstances. I am attracting different people, different friends into my life, different men. Romantically, there's been a really big shift in my life, especially after that relationship that ended. In my work, the clients I'm calling in are like soulmate clients, and they are usually quite advanced and doing a lot of work on themselves already. So that's something I'm really honored to be able to do. And I think all of that came from just an increase in confidence and my energy and how magnetic I am. So it's a pure joy, and I've broken all of the patterns that I've wanted to break pretty much. I've faced all these fears and I've come out so much stronger and more resilient and more confident and ready to take on the world and actually doing it. Yeah, I've never been as happy in my life as I am now. I actually did a masterclass a while back, and at the end we did a Q&A, and one of the attendees asked me, what is it that you desire in your life? You teach us about manifestation, but what is it that you desire? And I had to sit with it because truthfully, nothing immediate. I'm really, really happy and really fulfilled. Obviously, there's things I desire in the future, but right now, no. And I was never able to say that before. So I'm gonna show you a little slideshow of what my hair growth has been like, because I'm sure people are curious. And I would love to know from you in the comments, especially the women. Have you ever shaved your head? And if so, what was it like? If not, would you do it? Especially after watching this video. If you feel like you might want to, then I say do it. I mean, do what you want, obviously, but I say do it. I highly rate it. Just make sure that if you know you're going to come up against some fears and insecurities and some challenges internally, that you have support like I did. Now, have a wonderful week. I hope I see you back next week, whether you're new or a familiar face, and I'll see you in the next video.